Is that official? So we don't know if it's official yet. It's reportedly, let's talk about it. Netflix CEOs reportedly very interested in acquiring WB. David Zaslav said to want the biggest crown. Insane, dude. As Hollywood prepares to see who will acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, I love that it's just open now. It's an afterthought that this studio is going to somebody and it's going to happen. The question is, who is it going to and what are they going to do with your data? Because that is all I think this is used for, man. I think this is just a way to get our more data out of us. So is it going to be Netflix? Netflix, that would be interesting because then they're really acquiring all the assets of Warner Brothers Discovery, which is a lot of production, right? So I don't believe Netflix has Netflix series, but they're not a production house. They usually buy the distribution rights from a production company, and then it's on Netflix versus this. They would own TV channels. They would own another streaming service, which everything would go to Netflix. And then they would own the production studios themselves. November 20th, Netflix is copying Disney's business model. Interesting. What's crazy, though, is that Disney was always a production house, though. I guess they had Buena Vista. Yeah, they had Buena Vista. And Touchstone was also them, right? Was that a production company or distribution company? November 20th will mark an important day for Warner Brothers Discovery's history. The day marks the deadline for interested parties to submit a non-binding bid for the company, in a process that is expected to close by December. Multiple different reports have come out as Wall Street and the entertainment industry keep a close eye on the sale with the power to significantly alter Hollywood's status quo. Now, important pieces, by the way, this is Daniel Klisman. Important pieces of information regarding the impending sale have come out. Variety published a report discussing the parties involved in the bidding process. Per the trade, Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav wants the biggest crown that gives him the biggest portfolio. Interesting. The biggest portfolio? Why would he want the biggest portfolio? It's not like they're buying Netflix. Weird. This makes sense given the scale of the transaction. The report also included a very interesting statement regarding Netflix. The trade said that a possible outcome of the sale is Netflix acquiring Warner Bros. Discovery with David Zaslav as head of the studio, with Comcast getting HBO Max. Interesting. Comcast getting HBO Max. Co-CEOs Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters are said to want this to happen. However, Netflix chairman Reed Hastings is reportedly reluctant to deal with regulation procedures that would stem from such a deal. Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos really want this, but Reed Hastings doesn't want to deal with the regulatory hassles. Which is true. They gotta go to the government. They gotta go to Big Dad government and talk to us. FDA or whatever it is. Big Daddy gotta get okay. My Trump's getting worse as the years go by. This potential development would be a shocking outcome for Warner Brothers, considering how HBO Max is such a pivotal part of the company. True, Netflix's reported interest in such a deal also comes as a surprise, given that out of all the potential buyers, Netflix has arguably been the most difficult to get a read on. Following the announcement that Warner Brothers was up for sale, both Peters and Sarandos seemed to indicate a lack of interest in Warner Brothers. Sarandos, during an aftermarket analyst call, were predominantly focused on growing organically, investing aggressively, and responding. What? We're predominantly focused on growing organically, investing aggressively, and responsibly into the growth and returning excess cash flow to shareholders. Which is true, because if they have all this cash and they buy out Warner Brothers Discovery, do they then have to pay off the debts of Warner Brothers Discovery? Because I do believe Warner Brothers Discovery is $40 billion in debt, $38 billion in debt, somewhere around there. That is a lot of money, and a lot of money that maybe Netflix doesn't want to fork over too, or they never will. Later on, though, the streamer was reported to have hired the services of an investment bank to put together a bid for the company. Yet, Shortly after that, a report from Variety mentioned that sources had claimed Netflix was not really interested in the company and allegedly mainly wanted to raise Warner Bros. Discovery's price for David Ellison's Paramount Skydance. Jeez Louise, all this background action. Goodness. According to Variety, Netflix is in a position to make a legitimate bid, which most likely be all in stocks. Interesting. They are publicly traded, huh? But despite the streamer's interest in Warner Bros. Discovery, its chances of actually acquiring it are in question. As reported by Variety, California Representative Darrell Issa sent a letter to Pam Bondi, Gail Slater for the Antitrust Division of the Justice Department, and Andrew Ferguson, detailing antitrust concerns arising from a potential Netflix-Warner Bros. Discovery merger. The letter partially read, "As you are aware, Netflix is already the dominant streaming platform in the United States, and permitting it to absorb a major competitor raises antitrust concerns that could result in harm to consumers. With more than 300 million global subscribers and a vast content library, Netflix currently wields unequaled market power. Adding both HBO's Max's subscribers and Warner Bros. Premier content rights would further enhance its position, reportedly pushing the combined entity above a 30% share of the streaming market, a threshold traditionally viewed as presumptively problematic under antitrust law." See, that's where I was imagining, I'm like, is it really an issue? Because if I'm Netflix, again, I want maybe the infrastructure, right? They have property, they have personnel, they have actual production things that Netflix just doesn't have, and they don't want to buy and build all this stuff. They kind of just want to take it from them. And then also you're getting rid of like the Warner Brothers name if you do that. You would keep the Warner Brothers name almost like Fox did, you know, with Disney. Like they absorbed, it's like Fox, what is it called? 20th Century, what is it called now? It's like 20th Century Fox, or it's like Fox something. I don't remember what it was. I don't think Netflix needs the facilities. It's the content, the back catalogs, and the IP they want. No, 100%. Yeah, IP is entirely there. God, Warner Brothers, I wonder, they do have the deal with like Lord of the Rings movies, which is why they made the Rohirrim movie. What was that even movie called? That's that anime movie that was like not even close to being cool, but they were trying to, you know, make it a part of the actual Peter Jackson trilogy. Or how do you do 6 movies? 6 movies, Idgies. There we go. I forget about The Hobbit. I forget The Hobbit exists. Sometimes life is better that way. No offense, I don't like it. But yeah, I mean, it's possible that because of the actual streaming market, if they own more than 30%, does it automatically activate? Now, here's the thing. It does depend on who is in office at the time, and look who's in office. Someone who doesn't really care about, monopolies and that kind of thing. So it can happen. But also, things can happen where they then forcibly are taken apart. So this happened with the phone companies and the railroads. Technically, they were a monopoly. They were allowed. But then, like, depending on who came in, it's possible that they could come in and change it. So that way, you know, they get broken up again, just like the phone company was. It was like Pacific Bell, Mountain Bell, a bunch of other stuff. That's the thing. Like, Adam Sandler was really smart about his movie deal with Netflix because he is the production company. He goes out, he is the producer, right? So he gets all the assets together, he gets the money funding, and then he is the one that finds the director. He finds the other executive producers. He goes and does this stuff. And then Netflix has the deal to distribute it, right? So the production companies are a lot different than just that. So if you get Warner Brothers, you're also getting production companies that are underneath Warner Brothers. So I'm curious, Warner Brothers, if I can spell brothers correctly, production companies. I want to see all of them. I want to see all of their production companies. List of assets owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. Here you go. Oh God, the light mode again. Oh God. Oh God. Which they totally took liberties with that movie. With the Lord of the Rings one. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Though Netflix company did the visual effects. Oh, they did? For Happy Gilmore 2? I still didn't watch it because we don't have Netflix. Something you'll learn about me. I actually don't have many subscriptions. We have YouTube. And I think I still do have Spotify. It's not gone yet. So Netflix's own company, so the internal company. What I mean, I don't want to dox you. It's all good. I'll just say Netflix's internal company. So they do have a CG house that they do. Look at this, streaming and studios, Warner Brothers studio facilities. So these are the actual physical buildings, digital networks, digital labs. Look at all of these different companies. So like when people think of just Warner Brothers Discovery, they just think of, oh, okay, you know, Warner Brothers stuff. But this is what it means. You're getting all of Fandango Media. You're getting Fandango, dude. How? How did they own Fandango? Do they earn, like, look at 25% with Versant. So do they only own 25%? So Turner, oh my God, Turner Classic Movies, yeah. And CNN and all that stuff too, because that's all Turner. Look at all this TV. This is actual physical TV, which is crazy. Warner Brothers streaming, Cinemax. Oh my God, the libraries here, bro. Yeah, Cartoon Network library. Oh my God. Oh my God, Adult Swim, Toonami, Boomerang. I love Boomerang. I love the classic shit, man. That's awesome. They bought Scanline VFX and Eyeline Studio. Okay, so then they kind of just bought them out and then they reformed them, kind of like shit. Who did that in the gaming sphere? I mean, it happens all the time, but I think Rockstar bought out somebody and then they became like Rockstar North or something. Zaslav killed Cartoon Network. Yeah, he did. He did, because Zaslav is like another. I feel like Zaslav's another weatherman, dude. He's just like a Bob Iger. They're just like playing the money game, man. That's all they care about is just the money game. They don't really care about the stuff that they're creating, the culture, the pop culture, the art. They're just money men, and they're the ones making the creative decisions too. The only thing I'm really hoping for from Warner Brothers right now, I mean, we got Lanterns coming up. I don't know when that is, but I don't got HBO Max or HBO Plus or whatever it's called now. I don't even know. Oh my God. I don't got Apple Plus. I don't got any of those things. A lot of those old cartoons are on Netflix, and they actually are pretty smart with that. It's a pretty smart idea. They have a bunch of old cartoons now. What the companies have done is the ones who own the rights, they actually make channels for these old cartoons and they just run them. They figured out an easy way of just running the cartoons 24/7. It is so smart, and I love it. Because they're just raking in ad revenue. They're raking in YouTube ad revenue, which is for them probably killer. You know, imagine the parents my age, you know, 35s, who are like, I don't want them to watch like Skibbity Toilet or some other stuff that they're watching nowadays. Who even knows what they're watching nowadays? But stuff that's like overstimulating for children's brains on an iPad that's just like color, 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 like crazy, like neon, like flashing lights and stuff. And then all of a sudden you just want them to watch Street Sharks. You know, you just want them to watch Street Sharks or Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, stuff like that. And these companies who own the rights to all these shows, who own the backlogs, are starting to put them on YouTube, and it's really, really smart. But these are the assets, man. These are really the assets. They owned part of Crunchyroll. Didn't they sell that to Sony? Yeah, they sold it to Sony, and then it went to crap. I don't like Crunchyroll. Their services have went from bad.